And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello. Welcome back to the good, the bad, and the ugly, the very best and worst of real estate social media for 2018. Thank you so much for joining me. It is hard to believe this is the 5th annual Good, Bad, Ugly. I can't believe I've been doing this for 5 years. I can't believe I've had enough content for this for 5 years. So first things first, I would love it if you could just jump in and comment that you can hear me and you can see my screen and that you see the opening slide here. That would be awesome. I would love it if you would do that. Let me know. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me and can see slides. All right, good stuff. We are going to jump right in. So, if you have never attended a good, bad, or ugly before, if this is your first time, welcome. For those of you that have supported this for years and years and are those who send me pictures and screenshots from all over the world throughout the year, thank you so much for coming back and participating. I have so much fun with this. Truth be told, this also makes me really nervous. I always feel a little bit like I'm gonna puke right before this. So I hope that you enjoy this. I hope you laugh a little. I hope you learn a little. We're going to get started with a regular disclaimer that I always put in here. All of these comments and images have been gathered off of public social media sites. I have made efforts to protect the identities of the guilty. These opinions are mine alone, should be taken with a grain of salt. Please don't send me any hate mail. Blah, blah, blah. Merry Christmas. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I also want to start out with something that's become a little bit of an annual tradition, my annual public service announcement, also known as the Feel Good Clause. When I started doing this session 5 years ago, it was really, the very first year was kind of just about having fun, like lots of screenshots, kind of, just having some fun with it. But I found that by the second year, I was seeing a lot of bad and ugly, and I was getting a lot of bad and ugly. And so I had a post that I did 5 years ago, and that is still true today, where I said, I wish that we publicly celebrated success with the same enthusiasm that we criticize failure. And so true in our own businesses, but also true of others. And so just like 5 years ago, my goal with this is always to have far more good than bad and ugly. And I'm psyched that this year is no exception. I have so much good, and I'm so excited about the good. It's going to be really fun and really informative. I know you guys are going to get a ton of ideas out of it. I hope that you are inspired and learn. But I also want you to know that it's always good to focus on the good, because gosh, social media has gotten dark and kind of a bit stinky lately. In the last couple of years especially, I find that there's a lot of negativity and a lot of bad. And so I really want to use this session for us to share the good far more than the bad and ugly. So again, thanks for joining me. So glad that you're here. We are going to dive in, and as always, we are going to start with the good. Now, the idea behind the good stuff is that we want more of this. I want you to see these and go, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. I want to do more of that. Bring it on. And I also want you to get some ideas of the stuff that really is good stuff. So we're going to jump in and we're going to start out. And I'm really excited that this year, I am starting out with someone who is actually getting 3 shout outs in the good category, and deservedly so. If you have never met Michael Thorne and you haven't seen his stuff that he does in North Langley in British Columbia, you are missing out. He is absolutely amazing. He's a true treasure in our industry. He is one of those that we should all look to as an example. And he's also one of my best friends. So winning on all counts there. He did a couple of things that were just amazing this year. And the first thing that you're looking at is he did something called the Golden Ticket. So Willy Wonka style, he actually created some beautiful metal golden tickets. And in his neighborhood, he passed them out. And on the back of the golden ticket, it says, hey, if you receive this ticket, you have to just do something nice for somebody else and pass it along. And so he released these into the wild in his neighborhood, did a little bit of a video on his local Facebook page, and the responses were amazing. You're looking on the right-hand side there, just one of the ways that it was. Somebody said, hey, I was doing a bike ride. We stopped in at the Dead Frog Brewery. We offered to pay, and one of the surfers came over and gave us a golden ticket. Super excited, and I'm super excited to pass it along. So what a great idea of a way to just really get involved and share kindness in your community. So loved that. That I'm calling local love number one. Number two is local love number two. And Michael also did this really amazing Instagram campaign this year where he did My North Langley 365, which means for 365 days of a year, he shared a beautiful image that he took himself of life in his community and told a bit of a story. Now, for those of you that know me, I'm a sucker for a good story. I really think that is where the beauty is in true marketing. And so you can see here, he's given examples of a slide that he slid down when he was a kindergartner and now is used in still at his local elementary school. And one of the drives that they're doing at that school to raise some money. He talked about the local knitting club that meets every week, and he also shared a little bit about the Jazz and Arts Festival. But every single day, I mean, you can imagine the kind of dedication and effort that was put into this, and every image was beautiful and told a story of his neighborhood. So amazing job there. The third one was this, and maybe my favorite. There is a story, if you Google the red paperclip, there's a story about how someone started with a red paperclip and traded up over and over and over again. And so Michael did a campaign this year called Bigger and Better. And he started with a red paperclip, and he put out to his community, his people, and he said, I've got a red paperclip. What will you trade me for it? At the end, everything that was traded for that paperclip ended up being auctioned off, and he raised $5,000 to the local Hope After Stroke program. Again, none of these things were about listings, were about open houses, were even about real estate. Every single one of them was about being a member of his community, and absolutely loved them. So huge love to Michael for this local, amazing example of being a local love just winner in general. I'm like, this, can't think of a better way to start off the good category this year. Second one is this. I'm calling this one Bloody Brilliant. And I have to tell you, if you haven't been stalking this company online, they're a real estate company out of London, England, and they just really made my heart pitter patter this year with their marketing. It's something that I've never seen before. It was fun, and it was interesting, and it was new, and they continue on to keep creating these. What you're looking at right there is their tagline is matching people and property in London for over 160 years. And instead of showing pictures of properties, they're showing pictures of people, but they're describing them the way that you might describe a house. So if you look at that little baby, new build, acoustic insulation throughout. They're cheeky, and they're brilliant, and they're funny. And it's just such an amazing way to think of, if you're matching people and property, what is a really interesting way to show that? I also have to skip ahead and show you this part. They have some really, really fun ways of marketing just local events. Obviously, the royal wedding that took place this year on the left-hand side, you're seeing there matching people and property in London for 45 royal weddings, just the way that they've described Harry and Meghan. Absolutely love it. Also really enjoying matching people and property in London for over 160 Christmases. Just so much fun, and just a way for us to start thinking about, are we using images in our marketing that are telling a story? Are we being a little bit cheeky and fun, and maybe a little bit outside of the box? Instead of showing properties, are there other things that we could be showing, or could we be showcasing pets, or welcome mats, or mailboxes, or just other things that speak to us of home but are a little bit cheeky and fun? So I loved that one, had to share that one as well. Then I'm going to jump into a slide I am calling Client Love. I am showcasing a couple people here that I absolutely love. I have to give a shout out on the left-hand side to Leslie Heindel, Crescent City Living. She is on Instagram at B New Orleans. Absolutely love it when people are finding creative ways to show their client love and share the joy of what it feels like to actually close on your house. On the left there, Leslie's giving a shout out to Hillary, who had just bought her first house. So exciting. And on the right side, I'm giving a shout out to my friend Steve Volkers from my hometown, Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's with Berkshire Hathaway. And he shows beautiful images, again, of his first-time buyers or his own homeowners in their new home. And so loving the idea of taking a photo shoot of your clients in their new home. What a great gift for them, but also what a beautiful way to showcase what it is that you actually do. You help people. I would so much rather see this than scroll through and see pictures of the insides of homes. Obviously, we've got to do that sometime, but incorporating people and human beings, that is just amazing and beautiful. So big love to both Leslie and Steve in the client love category this year. The next one, I'm calling this Design Swoon, and it just wouldn't be right to do a good section of the Good, Bad, Ugly this year without giving a shout out to my friend Stacy and her team at Weston Main Homes. They just are killing it with beautiful imagery that reflects their neighborhoods. On the right-hand side, you're seeing a number of the images that they used to market themselves this year. You're seeing that there is a common theme in color and style and font. On the left-hand side, you're seeing an example of her monthly post that goes out across all of their social media sites that just really clearly distills the stats that are most important to a buyer or seller. I think we can learn a lot from this, guys. I think if you were to go back and take a look at your last 16 photos or the last couple of things that you posted, is there consistency? Does it reflect your brand consistently? Is it beautiful to look at? Is it something that's going to stop my thumb as I'm scrolling? We can learn a lot from Weston Main. So really good job on this one, guys, this year. This next one I'm calling Swagger. Who doesn't love a bit of good swag? And I have seen some great examples this year. Pulled out my favorite two, and I'm sharing those with you. On the left-hand side, you're seeing a cute example from my friend Christina Cusick at Town and Parish. She found those buckets in the dollar section of Target this summer, and she thought, what should I do with these? And so for her open houses, she created really fun little 4th of July kits with some sparklers and a flag and a bottle of water and some stickers. And who wouldn't love being handed that, some glow sticks? And then you have instantly your little 4th of July kit that you can hand out to kids and families and people at your open houses. I just thought that was brilliant. And really, when you're getting all of that out of the dollar section, it doesn't cost you a ton, just a little bit of time and a little bit of creativity. On the right-hand side, shout out to Jennifer Shelgren from Nest Atlanta. Loved this. I got it in the mail from her this year. It was this little cardboard bird, and obviously that's the bird from their logo. Some instructions on how to put it together. And then what was really fun is it got its own hashtag. And so people who received this bird all over the world were snapping pictures of it all over the place, wherever the bird found its nest. It was just a really fun way to kind of tie in their branding, but also kind of just a summer initiative. So again, just thinking out of the box, a little creativity goes a long way with swag. This one I absolutely loved. I'm calling this one Heart and Home. Huge shout out to Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Northwest Real Estate on this one. One of my favorite photo campaigns, cover photos that I saw this year. As you can see, got a lot of likes and a lot of shares and a lot of comments. Just loved this because we all could take out Northwest in this picture and put in our local town and know that we have knowledge about our neighborhoods and communities that's really super local. I loved this, mudroom not optional. I mean, obviously, if you live in the Northwest where it rains all the time, you know, a mudroom is not optional, but think about how this might translate to your local area. Like what's your local knowledge that tells you, you know what, like in my neighborhood, snow shovels not optional for much of the year. You know, what does that look like for you? So give that some thought and think about how you can really play into the localness of where you live. This one, just seriously touched my heart. I had to share this one. This is Kristen Smith. She shared this story, and for those of you that are watching this on a small screen, I'm going to read it to you. This is the photo of someone saying goodbye to their home of 32 years because of dementia. This is a woman releasing control. This is a woman walking away from everything she's built, everything that's been her constant, and everything she's put her heart and soul into. Selling real estate isn't always rainbows and butterflies. I had tears in my eyes leaving this listing appointment tonight. As I looked into her eyes and thanked her for her time, my heart sank. She looked back at me with the most defeated look on her face and politely thanked me for coming out to her home, even though me coming meant her leaving. As realtors, we sell homes for a living, but our clients are opening and closing chapters right in front of our eyes. What an honor to be part of their journey through life and all that comes with it. What a beautiful reminder that not every sale is happy, that not every moment is joyful, and what a beautiful and respectful way to talk about that part of your job. Storytelling can be so powerful, friends. I want you to really think about ways to incorporate stories of what you do and why you do it, and the things that touch your heart, because those are the things that are going to touch your audience's heart as well. So Kristen, thank you so much for sharing that story with us. I also wanted to share this one because I'm a huge fan of At Homes Realty. My friend Elizabeth Golden that runs that company, I cannot tell you enough the beautiful things that they are doing at that company and the heart and soul that they put into it. And I have to also say the fact that they have a director of smiles and that they feature her prominently in the story of their company, it just warms my heart. It's absolutely beautiful. It's just, I mean, think about, your mascot. Who is your director of smiles? Who is it that makes the people smile in your community and your company? And how can you focus on them? And that is real culture. And we talk a lot about culture in this industry. Culture is not just about having open plan space with a big table in the middle. It's about the people that speak to what it is that we do and why we do it. So thank you so much, Elizabeth and the team at Homes, for sharing your joy with us all year. This one I'm calling Insta Awesome. For those of you that are always looking for new people to follow on Instagram who are doing awesome things. On the left, it's Kristen McFeely from Philly Home Collection team at Compass in Philly, and she's just doing beautiful things. Absolutely loved that one. The little note left for the new people that are moving in with a little bouquet of flowers and a cup. Dear people who are moving in, I hope you enjoy this house as much as we did. This house is really great, and there's not another one like it, so please love and take care of this house. Oh, gonna cry. Like, just how amazing and beautiful and special is that? On the right-hand side, as always, one of my just mentors in marketing and one of my inspirations is Sharon Steele at 365 Cranford, Westfield, New Jersey. Follow her, the way that she tells her client stories, the way that she features her neighborhood, it's inspiring. There's nothing short of it. So two amazing people to be following on Insta. This one I just thought was super fun way to talk about inventory shortage. As many of us have seen, struggles with inventory have been real throughout this whole year. Loved this one from Leanne Ottaviano with Remax Wasaga Beach. She's sort of local to me, and this one really caught my eye. What a fun way to talk about inventory, or just poke a little bit of fun on the types of properties that you sell in the area that you work in. So loved this one. It's just a beautiful job. Thank you, Leanne, for sharing that with us. This one I also just have to give props. I mean, if you're not following Sarah Salonen, she works at Remax in Parry Sound, which is way north in Northern Ontario. She's just hilarious. Like, there's no other way to put it. If you can't read this, she says, a day in the life of a realtor and how I had fun with it. I book a viewing, receive the email lockbox code of 1234. We arrive at the home to view, and this is the lockbox. Fast forward to that evening. Email, hey Sarah, how did the showing go? Well, it took me an hour and 45 minutes to spell out 1,234, but we finally got in. I've seen so many posts that have gone the other direction. I've seen so many posts with a picture of a lockbox like this with a complaint about, unprofessional other agents, or, just how difficult it is to work with other people in this industry. And she could have gone that direction, but how fun is it that we focus sometimes on the stuff that are challenges, but we have fun with it and we smile, and that just goes to show, like, I have that feeling that if I'm working with Sarah, it's going to be fun. So think about the way that you're talking about the struggles in your business and how can you make them into something that's going to make somebody smile. So absolutely loved that, and so happy to share that one as well. This one I'm calling Real Life. Wendy Gibbs Ferguson with Next Home Local Realty in Conway, Arkansas. Absolutely loved this one. She told a beautiful story of celebrating a closing on 2 properties and thinking about all the changes that the homeowners were going through. And one person's moving because they lost their spouse and can't care for the place any longer. And the other couple was upbeat and excited because they're starting a new phase of life. And that both situations she found to be a blessing to her and to have an opportunity to either celebrate with or console. And once again, what a beautiful way to show that every single thing that we do, every person that we touch, every transaction has a story. And in some cases it's happy and in some cases it's tough, but that's why it is you do what you do. And so I just loved that one. Thank you for sharing that, Wendy. The last one that I have in the good category today, I'm calling All the Feels. This is Nicole Lopez Cummins. She is with Intero Real Estate Services in Houston, Texas. We know that Houston really struggled this year after Hurricane Harvey. Loved that she was telling a story of how she was out delivering pizzas after the hurricane and she came across this guy and he was talking about, potentially buying a house, and told the story of how they went from chatting over pizza and cleaning up after the hurricane to eventually helping them to close on a brand new home. And just loved that story and absolutely loved that it was shared that way. And just the smile of the little kid in the picture of getting a new house for Christmas. Just love that we can share the stories of good coming from struggles in our communities. And I know that we've got people that are going to be listening to this that have been in communities that have struggled this year with fires and hurricanes and flooding, and there is beauty to be found there. Find those stories and share those with us. So good stuff. What have we seen? We've seen local, we've seen funny, we've seen pretty pictures, we've seen heartwarming and real stories. All of that stuff is amazing. And one of the things I definitely want to note for you guys is this. When there's a lot of crappy stuff happening online, the good stuff, it stands out even more. And that's something to think about. If you want to stand out, if you want people to stop scrolling and look at the stuff you're sharing, don't be sharing more of the crappy stuff. Look at this stuff, local and funny and pretty and heartwarming and real. That is the stuff that people want to see, and they want you to make them smile and feel and care. And that is the stuff that we should be focusing on. So for everybody that was featured in Good this year, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for thinking of those stories and bringing them to life, because it's so important that we put that stuff out there as a representation of our industry. All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about the bad. This is the part that I'm really nervous about. So the good is great. It's easy. It's fun to talk about. I mean, how great is the good stuff? Just beautiful things there, stuff we can emulate and copy and integrate into our own business strategies. The bad stuff, though, this is the stuff where it's not too late to fix it. The ugly, we'll get to that in a minute, but the bad, there's a fix here. There is an opportunity for a lesson in these sections. So I really want you to think about that. I'm going to start out with the first one, just because it makes me laugh. Been almost a year. Facebook says they'll deactivate my account unless I start posting. So here's a post about nothing. For the love, y'all. Here's the thing with this. Having a social media account where this is the extent of your engagement is like having a phone number with a voicemail and never checking it. We've got to do better than this. The problem is this. People don't just Google us anymore. People Facebook Google us. And so they are more likely to search you on social media now as a search result than they are to actually go to your website first. So if this is the first thing that they see, they're going to start thinking, well, not sure how, responsive this person's going to be if I'm working with them. It's better not to have your account at all. Deactivate it if you're not going to be there. But if this is the kind of presence that you're putting out there, oh, like, hey, You know, like I started a blog 18 months ago, I blogged twice and there's been nothing added since. Or like I haven't posted anything here in like 7 months and this is all you see. We've got to do better. This is it. This is not a situation where this is better than nothing. Really, nothing is better than this. So enough of this. We can do better. This one, yeah. I'm going to talk about spell check for just a second. If you're not utilizing spell check in your day-to-day, this is a really good example of why you might want to do that. Beautiful photo, great post. I would potentially even click on it. I can tell that some work went into creating this in some sort of a graphic design manner, but here's the problem. Picturous, not a word. Picturous used twice, still not a word. We've got to do better. We have got to start using some spell check. Have a second set of eyeballs that you can reach out to and say, hey, do you mind checking this? If you're creating stuff and spelling's just not your thing, that's cool. You know what? Like, I'm not a fan of cilantro. It's not my thing. Spelling might not be your thing. Difference is that I can go without cilantro. You have got to learn to spell. And if you can't, that's what spell check is for. So download Grammarly, Grammarly. It's free. It's my Christmas present to you. It's going to automatically spell check everything you create everywhere on your computer and start using that. We can't just be making up words. It doesn't make us look super professional. So enough on that one. This one, we're going to have a moment of silence for this question together. Everybody just bow your heads and vow to yourself that no matter what guru, speaker, trainer, or archangel gets on stage and tells you to get on Facebook and ask, how old were you when you bought your first house? Vow to yourself that you will think of me and never do this. So I want to tell you why it is that speakers teach you to do this for the first part. First of all, you can see that this one has 75 comments. So you're probably thinking, Val, you're crazy. This gets me tons of engagement. See, the reason why people tell you to do this is because it gets you a ton of engagement. This is considered engagement clickbait. It actually gets people to comment on your stuff, not for any particular reason, not because there's any particular value in that content, not because it starts conversations, because it helps you beat the algorithm. Now, what I mean by that is an algorithm on Facebook basically determines that the more you interact with somebody, the closer your relationship must be. And so if they interact with you more and you interact with them more, then Facebook shows you each other's content more often. And so gurus are telling you to do this because it means then that your customers are going to see your content more often if they commented on this. That's not a terrible thing, except that you're not adding any value. There's no real conversation. So if you are going to listen to the gurus and you're going to use engagement clickbait, ask questions that are going to start real conversation. Something like, what's the biggest question you might have for a real estate agent? What do you love about where you live right now? What do you hate about where you live? Are there certain features that you would love to have in your dream house? Stuff that's going to give you information that you can actually jump off from into a conversation and talk to people about and create more conversation. Stop doing this. Stop asking close-ended questions as engagement clickbait. Moment of silence for this question. No more. Done. Moving on. All right. I'm calling this one no price sticker. Oy. I have one of these, I feel like, every year. This was maybe my favorite one this year, and also maybe one of my more difficult ones to Photoshop out all of the distinguishing marks there. Loved this post. This is one of the most beautiful properties I've listed in a while. A little over 2 acres, huge shop, nice home, move-in condition, near perfect location. Gosh, they're really selling it. I'm into it now. Like, where do I go to find out more? And I get to play with horses. Oh my gosh, there's horses. Where do I go to find out more? There's nothing. Nothing, y'all. And so obviously that's the very first question that comes up is, can I see the listing? Here's the thing, guys. If somebody has to ask you that question, you failed in your marketing. You haven't given them enough information for them to make the next step, to take the next step, to make the decision to click on something. There's no MLS number there. There's no click through to a website. There's no click here to watch a video. There's absolutely no next step. Here's the problem. Marketing is designed to move people along a path. It's not just, hey, here's this. It's, hey, here's this. Now here's what you do with it. And they did a really great job of selling this property here. And I'd be probably even want to click on it and see those horses and see all of that, beautiful updated interior, but they didn't give us that. And so think to yourself, as you are marketing to your audience this coming year, as you're starting to share stuff, have you given them not only the pitch, but also the next step? It's just that simple. It doesn't have to be necessarily always all of the information. Totally get it. If you want, to sort of draw them in, but give them the next step. This one I'm calling Ain't Nobody Got Time for That. I see this a lot. This is just one simple example. As you can see, this is a conversation I had with somebody who jumped into a group and said, hey, I create videos and I send them out. And if you're wondering about how I do it, here's how I do it. All of these complicated steps. And I replied, well, there's also a tool that allows you to skip those steps. And the response was, yeah, but that costs money. All of these complicated steps are free. Here's the thing. Your time is as valuable as your dollars. And so if you are jumping into groups and you are asking for advice and you are given advice and you're like, well, that's $10 and I'm not going to pay for that, so give me 17 steps to avoid it, it might be better if you don't ask the question in the first place. First of all, super frustrating people in the group. But secondly, if you're looking for a solution, be open-minded to the fact that not every solution is going to be free. And sometimes the very best things are going to cost you either time or a little bit of effort. And that's cool if you want to go ahead and do the 17 steps that it's going to take to skip over that $39. But that's not always going to be the response that you get. So as you're jumping into groups and you're asking for advice, be a little more open-minded about that. This one I'm calling Thumbnail SOS. All right. No offense to the lovely lady in the picture here. I just feel like it was a really unfortunate thumbnail freeze frame here. For those of you that are uploading videos onto social media, I think it's great. Video is the way to go. If you're still resisting video, it's time to jump on that bandwagon. But here's the problem when you're posting videos is that thumbnail is what stops people as they're scrolling. We all scroll through with our thumbs, thumb, pause. And so your stuff has to be thumb stopping. This is an ad for a company talking about how this person used their tools. The quote that they included, I cannot even tell you how happy I am, doesn't really match with the thumbnail here. Deborah doesn't look ecstatic to me. I'm not sure that this would entice me to click on this and find out why she's that happy. To me, this looks a little bit worrisome. So think about the thumbnails. If you are uploading videos, it's a really simple Google search to learn how to change the thumbnail in Facebook or pretty much on every site. Make sure that you're including that as you go. And uploading those so that you're using a freeze frame that just, in some cases just, looks happy, looks thumb stopping, uses something that's going to make people smile and pause. All right. I debated this one, guys. No hate mail. I don't know. So here in Ontario, where I live in Canada, we legalized pot. Recreational pot this year. And so 2 days after we legalized recreational pot, this came out. Free market evaluation by, okay, obviously I know this ad is meant to catch your eye because it says free weed. I don't know how I feel about this, using controversial topics in a community to capture people to click on your website for a free market evaluation. I'm going to put this in the bad category. I just felt like it was maybe too soon. But I don't know. I want your feedback on this one. I would love some comments. Do you think it's okay to capitalize on stuff like this for your real estate business or not? I'm really kind of torn. I really thought 2 days after weed was legal might be a little bit quick, but hey, I don't know. This is one of those that I have a question on. All right, I'm going to give you the last one in the bad section here, and I am going to be really honest with this one. This one is coming from my heart. I have absolutely nothing against the wonderful people that are posted in the pictures. They are not the topic of this. This is not about them. But I really feel like as as opposed to too soon, we in this industry have not done enough in another category. We need more diversity in our leadership. We need more diversity in our marketing. We need more diversity on our stages. And I'm not just saying this, about just men. I'm not just saying we need more women. I'm saying we need more people of all kinds and all colors and all backgrounds. And we need to do more of an effort for this. And so one of the things that I would implore, and this is really every year I have one of these that's sort of, this is from my heart, is I want you to think about how you vote when you vote for your representation in your local MLSs and your boards, when you vote for the people that are on those representation groups. I want you to think about when you are going to conferences, and if you are organizing conferences, I want you to think about the support that you give to the people that are putting those panels together to promote differences in opinions and also ethnicities and backgrounds and ideas. But you, on a personal level, I want you to take a look at your marketing and look at your audience and wonder, am I representing them? And I want you to think about, we need more diversity in our stock images, in our slides, in our marketing, in our flyers, in our articles. We need more diversity in this industry because our customers, they don't necessarily look like what we're putting out there. And so I'm putting this in the bad category simply because we have an opportunity to fix this. And I really hope that all of us are putting some effort towards this a little bit more in the new year. So as a recap for bad, couple of things that we can do to fix some of these things. First of all, be present. If you're going to have social media presences, be present. If you are going to produce marketing and printed materials or graphic design, get a second set of eyes, spell check. One thing that I really can implore you, do more than just engage, converse, care, respond. Engagement has been one of those things that we've used as kind of a checkbox in marketing for so long. People are saying you need to get engagement. How do you get more engagement? But it's not just about engaging. It's about conversing, building relationships, talking with people, replying back to them, starting a real conversation. Give all the information. Tell them what to do next. Don't just say, here's something great. Tell them now's what you do with it. And then know your audience, know whether it's too soon or it's not enough, and recognize the work that we still need to do in our marketing in this industry. All right, we are moving on to the ugly. And I co-titled this part, Just Stop It. Just kind of unlike the bad where we can still fix, this is the stuff we just need to stop. So if you recognize yourself in some of these, it's time to pull the plug on these practices. The first one I'm calling y'all, just y'all. This was the main hero shot. This was the main marketing photo in this person's marketing pieces as well as their social media. This is not edited in any way. It really was shared exactly like this. This is a really terrible photo. And so, y'all, it's time. If this is how you take photos, this is me sitting you down, holding your hand and saying it's time to start hiring a photographer because this is just bad. It's just bad. It's ugly. All right, next one. On the topic of photos, for the love. Do you see where that arrow's pointing? Do you see down in that bottom corner what it says? It says Google. Do you know why that is? Because this agent stole this picture off of Google Street View. Guys, come on. No. This is not what we get paid for. This is not good enough. This is not okay. We cannot tell the industry that this is okay because we wouldn't tell our consumer, our customer, our audience that this is okay. So we have got to do better. If you're the person that's either sharing really crappy photos or thinking that it's enough to just have a photo rather than no photos, this is not a good example. So we've got to put more effort in. Enough of this. I'm including spell check again in the ugly because we're just at a point where this is just really bad. I'm starting to see spell check as a problem on not just stuff that's being sent out, but these were national this on the right was a statewide campaign. The one on the left is an actual person's website. Everything I've got in yellow is spelled wrong. Yeah. So again, download Grammarly. It's free. It will check your spelling and your grammar on every single thing you do. For the love, y'all, we've got to do better. Even if you don't think anybody's going to notice, people are going to notice, and people are going to start to judge your professionalism based on the fact that you just can't spell certifications. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We have a lot of photo ones on this one, but this was a little bit different. This was a photo that was shared, stunning home, beautiful, whatever. And this was taken in May. And like, I live in Canada, and I was sort of thinking, holy smokes. So my comment was obviously, do you all still have snow? Like, I was already mowing the grass at this point. And the person replied, no, it's just too gloomy for a new photo. Guys, no. It's not. It's never too gloomy for a new photo. If there's not snow on the ground right now and your photos have snow, you can do better. So we've got to stop this. This is ugly. This is just not the way to be marketing. We've got to have current photos. I mean, I could have put alongside this a copy of a glamour shot from the 1980s for those of you that are still using photos where you have hair and yet in real life you don't have hair. It's time. Update those photos. All right. This one's a little bit of a soapbox, and I think a lot of you are going to kind of give me a holla and an amen on this one, because I've heard a lot of complaints on this year. If I friend you on Facebook and this is the first comment that comes in, or if you like my page and this is the first comment that comes in, this is a hard no for me. You can see in this case that this person sent a personal private message that said, your page has been liked. Return the favor and will within 24 hours or I will unlike your, I can't even enunciate English words when I'm reading this. Guys, just because someone friends you on Facebook, they are not contractually obligated to like your page. If you like someone else's page, they are not contractually obligated to like your page. And in fact, you don't want them to. See, here's the thing. If you try and get everyone to like your page, but these are people that are not going to interact with your page on a regular basis, if you're getting somebody in another state or another country to like your page, and they're not going to engage with you on your local content, you're actually hurting your page's algorithm, which means less people in general are going to see it, because Facebook is going to go, well, this page has a lot of likes, but nobody actually engages, so their content must be crappy. And they drop your content down to the bottom of the pile. So here's the difference in this one. Here's the solution. Don't ask people to like your page, earn it. Share really great content from your page. Direct people there to read stuff that you've written and that you've shared and that you've created. And when they see that there's good stuff there, they will like your page, so they will get more of it. Don't say, hey, like my page, or I'm going to unlike yours. No, not a good way to do business. All right. Okay. This one, gosh, this has been a year of the hold your finger down and forward this to all of your people. The other version of this is copy and paste this and share it to everybody. Message from me. If you ever get a message that says, hold your finger down to forward to all, don't, ever. It's spammy, it's crappy, it forwards stuff that shouldn't be forwarded. As we saw this year, the whole, I got another friend request from you, your account has been hacked thing. The entire thing was a hoax perpetrated by people holding their finger down and just blindly forwarding this to everybody. The reality is that 99% of you were not duplicated on Facebook. You were not hacked. Your accounts were not compromised. You simply just got this because people see hold your finger down and forward, and they do it without questioning. So don't ever do this, ever. Use your smarts, read things, research, understand, oh, if this is a hoax, I probably shouldn't keep it going. This one also, I see this one go around a lot. This has been making the rounds for a couple of years now, and this one is a definite stop it. So what this does is this is again algorithm clickbait. So it tells people, hey, my news feed feels different, so I want to see more of your stuff. So in order for me to see more of your stuff, you have to comment on my post. Here's the thing. Sure, does that work? Do you see more of their stuff if they comment? Yes, but that's not the point. If you want to see more of people's stuff, you go and engage on their stuff. You go and comment on their stuff. You put the effort in. That's how the algorithm is meant to work. The more you actually create a relationship with someone, the more you see their stuff. It's not about just asking people to comment, hey, or hi, or leave an emoji. That's not how it works. That's not relationship building. That's just beating the algorithm. And honestly, it's not going to do you any favors in the long run. All right, another ugly here. This is just a bit of a lesson for those of you who do get suckered into the, hey, share this and you're going to get 2 free tickets to anywhere for $1, or you're going to get a free whatever from Costco, or you're going to get 60 pounds of free hamburger, like whatever you're seeing. I don't know. When you post these, 112% of the time, they're a hoax. They're not right. WestJet's not giving everybody a plane ticket to anywhere. You're not going to get something free from Costco or Apple or Steve Jobs or anything. So here's the thing. When somebody comments on one of these and says, hey, this isn't real, the reply shouldn't be wishful thinking. You should delete it. If you get suckered into one of these and you find out it's not real, delete it. Don't just write, ha ha ha, a girl can hope. Nah, because what happens then is people don't read the comments and they keep sharing it. And that's how spam continues its life cycle. And then it just has baby spams and then more baby spams. And then it's like rabbits. So we can beat this spam if we stop sharing it, but also delete it if we get suckered in and didn't know that it was fake. This one I'm calling the golden rule. I have 2 left in the ugly category, and this one, I have a version of this every year. What you're looking at on the screen right now is someone who screenshot an actual conversation, text conversation with a client. Y'all know. The golden rule of real estate social media is you should never be bashing your customers or even your coworkers or colleagues in this industry publicly, but you should definitely not be taking personal conversations, screenshotting them with your clients, and sharing them on social media. This is a hard no. This is the golden rule. Please, if you are ever tempted to do this, just say no. All right, here's the last one that I'm sharing with you in the ugly section, and then I have a little bit of a message for you to close out the year. This one I'm calling outsource outrage. This one, every year, there seems to be just one that kind of makes the headlines everywhere. This one went national here in Canada and also internationally. This was the story of a real estate agent here in Canada who was outsourcing her social media, who was paying somebody to create content for her and then automatically having that content populate on her social media sites. As you can see, some of those were questionable in their content. Some of them were probably over the line. Some of them were really just outright unacceptable. And so this went national. It was posted in the newspaper. All of the examples were in there. The person was named. It went viral. It became an outrage. People were, screaming and yelling. Her social media blew up with people telling her she was a horrible human being. None of that, which I think is fair. Her defense was, I was outsourcing this. I didn't create these. Here's the problem with this, guys. If you are outsourcing your content and you aren't checking it and you aren't involved in the process and you don't have a second set of eyes on that, it only takes one drama to kill your SEO forever. The problem here now is that even if all of those have been deleted off of social media, which they have been, when you Google that person's name now, everything that was in the news came up. It's all preserved forevermore. And so one little mistake like this can be the first 4 pages on Google results for you for years. So just be really careful as you're outsourcing. Like I tend to say, don't ever outsource anything, but I know that's not realistic. I know some of us, some of you will outsource some of your content, but please be involved in the process. Be there, put your eyeballs on it, understand. And if you don't know, outsource it. Get 2 or 3 people and outsource those second set of eyeballs and say, look, can you take a look at this stuff? I want to make sure that it's hitting the mark, because I don't want you to end up in this situation where this is the kind of stuff that comes up when somebody's Googling you. All right, what can we learn from the ugly stuff? First of all, professional photos. Hallelujah, the angels sing, amen. Start using great photos. Spell check, another one. Again, download Grammarly, get a spell checker, drop it into a spell checker. Make sure that you aren't, kind of eroding your professionalism by making those simple mistakes. Don't hold your followers hostage. I said no follower hostages, but look, hey, you know what? If you are going to follow someone, there's no requirement that somebody else follows you back. That's not how it works. You've got to earn your followers. Stop the copy paste, for the love. If somebody is sharing something and you don't know if it's real, use Snopes. Go to Snopes.com, plug in that thing, and if it says, nope, this is real, don't share it. Delete it. Secondly, follow the golden rule. No commenting publicly negatively about your clients ever, especially not sharing those private conversations publicly, not okay. And lastly, no set it and forget it when it comes to your marketing. If you are having someone else help you create stuff, you need to be involved in the process. One last thing that I want to share with you as we close out this year, I started out by saying the good stuff really stands out because there's so much bad stuff out there. There's so much crappy stuff. And so I want to leave you with one thing. Last year, the end of the year, right about this time, I asked a question on social media. I asked all my friends, all my people, a really simple question. I said, what makes you smile? Really simple question. Took a big deep breath, hit post, and I got hundreds of results. And I just want to share with you for a minute the responses that I got to that question. What makes you smile? What do you see on your screen right now, friends? You see pets and travel and babies and grandmas and fun and joy and lights and dreams and all of it. When you look at this, you have feelings, because these are the things that universally make us smile. So as you're looking at this, I want you to keep these images in your mind as you go forward and start sharing marketing with your audiences in 2019. Every year as I end this session, I used to ask yourself one question. And that question used to be, does this add value? Every time you share something, you create something, you post something, I used to say, ask yourself, does this add value? But I want you to change that question up a little bit for 2019, and I want you to ask yourself, does this make me smile? Does it help others? Will it make them smile? If you can check those boxes off, your marketing is going to stand out. It's going to make people feel joy. It's going to make people want to get to know you, to engage with you, to talk to you. If every time you share something with your audience and you ask these questions, you have a very good chance of ending up in the good category of good, bad, and ugly next year. As always, I want to end this session with a very special thanks to Blurry Guy. For those of you that were new this year and you thought I was sharing the same guy's post the whole time, I was not. I used the same photo to blur out the faces of the guilty. And I don't know where this picture came from, probably off of Google Images years ago, but I have to give a big thanks out to him. And as always, I want to finish this out, as I do every year, with a big happy holidays. I wish for a very peaceful and kind and caring holiday season for all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and also for loving and supporting me and my business this year. It's just been a joy to be friends with all of you. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year. We'll see you next year.